All right, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling something I know you're super curious about: wealth and success.
Yeah, it's a popular one, for sure.
You've been looking into Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, right?
That's right.
Well, I can see why it caught your eye.
Yeah.
It's a pretty interesting idea, isn't it? That wealth isn't just about, luck or smarts.
Yeah, it digs a little deeper.
Definitely. So, to kick things off, maybe you can give us a quick rundown. What's the central idea of this book? Why does it resonate with so many people?
Well, the book basically says that our financial success, it's not really about what we know.
Hmm.
It's more about this thing called our money blueprint.
A money blueprint. Okay, I'm
It's
intrigued.
like a subconscious program running in the background, and it shapes all our money decisions, how we handle it, how much we make.
So, are you saying even if you have all the right skills and knowledge, if this blueprint is messed up, you're kind of doomed?
Yeah, it's like a carpenter trying to build a beautiful house with rusty tools, you know.
Oh, I get it. You could have the fanciest oven in the world, but if you're afraid to turn it on, what's the point?
Exactly. And these beliefs, they often come from our childhood.
Really?
Yeah, the messages we pick up about money from our parents, the environment we grew up in, all sorts of things.
Like that story about the woman who always cut the ends off the ham before cooking it,
Oh, yeah, I love that one.
just because her mom did it and her grandma before her. No one ever stopped to ask why.
It's a perfect example.
Right.
We inherit these financial habits without even realizing it. The first step, the book says, is just recognizing them, these patterns we've been following blindly.
Makes you wonder, what other ham-cutting rituals are we all doing with our money? But this book, it goes beyond just theory, right? It has those really interesting real-life examples,
Absolutely.
like the story of Josie, the surgical nurse. She was making good money, but always seemed to be struggling.
Yeah, Josie's story really shows how these subconscious money blueprints play out in real life. She had this childhood trauma that linked money with pain, and it led her to sabotage her finances, even though she consciously wanted to be wealthy.
So, like, her subconscious was fighting against her goals? That's kind of scary, actually.
It can be, but the good news is, once you become aware of these patterns, you can start to change them.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we rewrite our money blueprint? The book talks about these four quadrants, right? The physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual.
Right.
Break those down for me. How do they all connect to our finances?
Imagine you're writing a letter, and there's this typo that keeps showing up.
Uh-huh.
You fix it in the document, but every time you print it, the typo's still there. You got to go back and change the original source file.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
The book is saying our external financial reality, that's like the printout.
Yeah.
But the source file, that's those other three quadrants. If we've got negative beliefs about money in those realms, they're going to keep showing up in our lives no matter how hard we try to fix things on the outside.
Like those pesky typos. So we need to get to the root of the problem, the source file, to really make a change. This is getting good. Tell me more about these quadrants and how they affect us.
Well, let's start with the mental quadrant. This is where our conscious thoughts and beliefs about money hang out. Like, do you believe money is scarce? Or are you open to the possibility of abundance? Or do you maybe see money as like a source of stress or like a tool for good? You know,
That's true. Our thoughts really do shape how we see things. But what about the emotional side? How do our feelings about money fit into all of this?
the emotional quadrant, that's where our deep-seated feelings about money live. They often come from our past experiences. Like if someone grew up seeing their parents constantly fight about money, they might start to unconsciously connect it with anxiety or fear.
So even if you know all the right money moves on paper, if your gut is telling you to run for the hills, it's going to be tough to make good decisions.
Right.
It's like being offered a delicious piece of cake, but you're too worried about the calories to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And then there's the spiritual quadrant. This is where we get into our deeper purpose, our connection to something bigger than ourselves.
Okay.
The book suggests that when our financial goals match up with our values and our purpose, it's like we're more in tune with attracting abundance.
It's not just about stacking up cash for the sake of it. It's about using it to make a difference in the world in a way that feels right to you. I can see how that would make a difference. So, okay, we've got these four quadrants, but how do we actually start to shift our money blueprint? The book talks about the mindsets of rich people versus those with a poor or middle class mentality.
Yeah, the wealth files.
What are some of the big differences in how these groups view money?
Well, one of the most obvious is their sense of control, I guess.
How so?
Rich people, they tend to think, I create my life. They take charge of their finances. They see themselves as the ones in the driver's seat, not just passengers along for the ride.
So instead of saying, I can't afford that, they're asking, how can I make this happen?
Exactly. They're looking for solutions, not dwelling on limitations. They're also big on taking action. Think of that to grow. You have to step outside your comfort zone and be okay with some risk.
You know what comes to mind? That challenge in the book about not complaining for a whole week.
Yeah, even in your head.
It's about shifting from negativity to a more positive and proactive way of thinking.
Definitely. And it's not about pretending everything's perfect or ignoring problems.
Right.
It's about choosing how you respond to those problems
Yeah.
and focusing on what you can actually control.
Like the book says, you can be a victim or rich, but you can't be both. No more playing the victim card. It's time to take charge of our financial future.
This whole idea of the universe as a mail order department, that's pretty wild too.
That was interesting, right?
What we're thinking and believing is basically like placing an order with the universe. So if we're always worried about not having enough, that's what we're going to get.
It's about energy.
But if we shift to an abundance mindset and really believe we can create wealth, the universe is going to step up and back us up. That's the general idea. But it's not just about positive thinking by itself. It's about taking action, aligning what you do with what you believe.
Okay, so thoughts plus action. Got it.
There's a great quote by the explorer W.H. Murray. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness.
So we got to take that leap of faith, commit to our goals, and trust that things will fall into place. The book also stresses thinking big, right?
Yeah, rich people, they don't settle for average. They set these ambitious goals and have a big vision for their lives. And it's not just about personal gain.
It's not.
No, they often want to make a positive impact on the world, make a difference.
Which reminds me of how the book defines an entrepreneur.
A person who solves problems for other people at a profit.
Exactly. Real wealth often comes from providing value and helping others. It's not just about lining your own pockets. Now, the book also mentions that rich people are generally more comfortable promoting themselves and their ideas. Why do you think that is?
We got to be comfortable with sales to succeed in pretty much any field, right?
I guess so.
It's not about being pushy or anything. It's about communicating your value and getting people to see your vision.
So believing in yourself and not being afraid to share your ideas with the world. Okay, but what about this claim that rich people are generally more honest?
Yes, that's a bold one, right?
It is. How does the book back that up?
Their reasoning is that honesty creates trust, and trust is crucial for success, especially in big projects.
That makes sense.
If people know you're trustworthy, they're more likely to do business with you, invest in your projects, and support you.
It's like that saying, honesty may not always be easy, but it's always right. Building a reputation for honesty pays off in the long run. The book also dives into the importance of facing our fears and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes from the book.
Me too. If you are only willing to do what is easy, life will be hard. But if you are willing to do what is hard, life will be easy.
It's so true.
It's about recognizing that being uncomfortable can actually be a good thing.
Right. It often means we're growing.
Exactly. We need to push ourselves beyond those self-imposed limits. Now, we've talked about taking action, but the book also talks about the importance of receiving.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Why do you think receiving can be so hard for some people?
It might seem counterintuitive, but a lot of people struggle with accepting abundance, whether it's money or love or opportunities.
It's like they don't feel worthy or they're scared of having too much.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that analogy they use in the book. It's like rain falling equally on everyone. Money's the same. It doesn't pick and choose who to shower with blessings.
That's a good one. The universe is full of abundance, but whether we open ourselves up to receive it depends on what's going on inside us,
And there's that powerful point they make. Money amplifies who you already are.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
So it's not enough to just chase riches. We've got to work on becoming the kind of person who can handle wealth responsibly and use it for good. Speaking of handling wealth, the book uses a really simple analogy to highlight the importance of having systems in place for managing money. Remember that one with the kid dropping their ice cream cone?
Oh, yeah. Classic.
Even if you attract more wealth, if you don't have the skills and systems to manage it, it'll slip through your fingers, just like that melting ice cream.
It's a great way to illustrate it. Which leads us to active versus passive income. The book is definitely pro-passive income when it comes to building lasting wealth.
Right. Why is that?
Well, active income, the money we earn from our jobs, It's like running on a treadmill.
You gotta keep hustling just to stay in the same place.
Exactly. But passive income, it lets you build wealth even when you're not actively working. It's about setting up systems that generate income without needing your constant attention.
And they use that awesome bus analogy to show how you need all four wheels working together for a smooth ride to wealth: active income, savings, investments, and passive income. But at the end of the day, it feels like the book's message goes beyond just money, right?
Definitely. It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
But I like that.
The pursuit of wealth, when approached with the right mindset, it can be a powerful tool for personal growth and self-discovery.
That quote really sums it up. To have more, you have to become more. What does that mean to you when we're talking about developing this millionaire mind?
It means it's about always learning, growing, pushing yourself to think and act and receive at a higher level. It's about embracing the journey, not just the destination, both financially and as a person.
So it's not just about external achievements, but about internal transformation as well. That makes sense. Now, before we move on, I wanted to touch on how rich people seem to view opportunities and obstacles differently. What's the book's take on that?
Well, they tend to see opportunities where others see obstacles. They're not just reacting to what's happening around them.
They're actively looking for ways to create value to solve problems. It's pretty inspiring when you think about it.
Yeah, it really is. And it all comes back to that idea of the millionaire mind. It's not just about having a fat bank account. It's about a way of thinking and approaching the world.
So it's about being resourceful, creative, solution-oriented, not getting stuck in that lack mentality.
Exactly. It's about always searching for the how.
How to make things happen, how to overcome those roadblocks, how to turn a problem into a profit.
And that how often involves getting outside that comfort zone, taking risks.
Right. And remember, the book says discomfort is a sign of growth. Rich people, they're not afraid of a little challenge. They actually seem to thrive on it.
Definitely.
They're not sitting around waiting for the perfect moment or for someone to hand them success. They're out there making things happen, learning from their mistakes, and constantly evolving.
And that evolution, that's key. Always learning and growing. It's not just about acquiring knowledge. It's about using it, adapting to change, and constantly refining your approach.
So it's not some get-rich-quick scheme.
Not at all.
It's a total mindset shift, a commitment to self-improvement, and a drive to be the best you can be in every area of life.
It's about becoming the kind of person who attracts wealth and success. Not just by chance, but because you've created it.
You know, when you look at all these principles together, the mindset, the habits, the actions, it really paints a clear picture of what a millionaire mind looks like.
It's this powerful combination of inner beliefs and outward actions all working together. It's about believing in abundance, owning your financial reality, and taking consistent action toward your goals.
And speaking of action, the book also mentions the importance of managing our energy, not just our time.
Right. It's about being mindful of where you direct your mental and emotional energy.
Rich people are very selective about who they spend time with, what they allow to influence their thinking, what activities they prioritize.
Exactly. It's about protecting your mental space from negativity, surrounding yourself with things that inspire and uplift you.
Because negativity is draining. It keeps us stuck. Rich people, they get that, and they make a conscious effort to cultivate that positive, abundant mindset.
They're not just going with the flow. They're actively shaping their reality by managing their energy, their thoughts, their environment.
And that proactive approach, it extends to their finances, too. They're not just crossing their fingers and hoping for the best. They're building systems and strategies to manage their money and secure their future.
Definitely.
Which brings us back to that emphasis on having multiple streams of income, particularly passive income. They're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Exactly. It's about diversifying and creating a financial safety net. So even if one stream dries up, you're still good.
So it's not just about working hard in one area. It's about building a sustainable system that works for you.
That's the key.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into secrets of the millionaire mind. We've covered a lot of ground, from that subconscious money blueprint to the power of taking ownership and action, the role of fear and discomfort in growth, the importance of receiving abundance, the difference between active and passive income, and ultimately becoming the best version of ourselves.
Yeah, we've explored how these principles can be applied not just to finances, but to all areas of life.
It's been really eye-opening. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface of this book, but you've given us a lot to think about and put into practice.
It's been a pleasure diving into these concepts with you.
Before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one last thought. The book really encourages us to embrace lifelong learning,
Yeah.
and always be seeking out new knowledge, new skills, new perspectives. And to remember, to have more, you have to become more. So keep that in mind as you continue exploring these ideas and shaping your own journey toward wealth and success. Until next time, keep diving deep.